Okay, we're gonna name everyone in our group real quick. I'm Olivia.
My name is Israel.
I'm Talia.
I'm Trip.
And I'm Hillary.
Our topic is abortion. I think it should be pro-choice. I think women should have the right to their own opinion and their own body. And yeah, that's my thoughts.
I as well think that it should be pro-choice.
I think women should have it's their body. I think women should have the right to their own choice because it's their body at the end of the day. They're the ones making the choice. And although I know that you guys are saying it's like potential life, technically at that point it's not. So it still should be women's own right. And I mean, fetal viability isn't even a thing till 24 weeks at least. So even if you have it, there's very, very rare cases where you can like actually have a preemie before that. But the chances of that are like very unlikely, especially considering the fact that lungs for kids fetuses don't develop until 22 weeks. So yeah, it could be potential life, I guess, but it's not. So it's not really anyone else's choice, personally.
I'm more under the opinion, I'm not so much anti-abortion, I'm just anti that it's all the women's choice. I think because the man provided an assist in getting her pregnant and having the potential baby, he should have a choice in it as well. Because if that pregnancy were to carry through, it wouldn't just be her child, it would be his as well. When a parenting decision is made in any kind of parties, both parents make a decision. So I think it should be the same for this.
But at this point, it's not a kid yet, and it's still a clump of cells, fetus, whatever you think it is. At the end of the day, whatever personal beliefs there are, technically, according to science, it's not a thing yet, and it's the woman who has to. As I said, it's so expensive just to have a pregnancy, the emotional turmoil, physical, after having postpartum depression, it's all in the woman. Yeah, okay, whatever the man. And
abortions ain't cheap either.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. And just the issues of going through an abortion itself, like the effects that can have on a woman, I don't think a man should have a say, yeah, okay, sure, tell your partner if you want to, but at the end of the day, if a man says, oh, well, I want the baby, and the woman doesn't want it, okay, she told him, good, but it's still up to her. The man, okay, yeah, he puts in a good, few minutes. Okay.
Bro.
Okay, lock it. Okay, so yeah, he does. Okay, so he does his part here and there, right? Okay, so he does his part, but at the end of the day, the woman has to carry it. He's not doing it. And again, men are so, especially if a man's actually fertile and, is not, what's it called, barren or whatever, he can get so many women pregnant, and if he really wants a kid, go have it with someone else. But, yeah, at the end of the day, I think it should be the woman's choice. She's the one who has to carry it and has to, give birth and do all. I know, what if she has, ass tearing all the way to her ass? You don't understand. Even birth itself is, I mean, if you don't want to go through it, it shouldn't be up to a guy who doesn't even have to go through any of that.
I agree with the fact that, although, with the fact that you just said that, the man doesn't have to go through any of, the struggles of having to carry the baby or do any of that.
Right, they have to go through the struggles of dealing with the pregnant woman. Sorry, I'm just rage baiting.
Okay,
Bro.
He can adopt a kid if he really wants one.
If he really wanted to have a kid, he could find someone to have a kid. He doesn't have to kind of wedge himself into a decision that will impact the woman for the rest of her life. Although, he put in his time, he did the work. As Tripp could say,
he did put in the work.
She's gonna be the one that has to carry the kid at the end of the day for the next 9 months, and there could be complications. So that's something that the man just never has to worry about. So yeah.
I think for me, it's just if you're having those conversations with your couple, if you're doing those things and you have talked about stuff as a couple, right? So it's just for you to go off and do that decision without consulting your partner, to me is just then why are you with your partner, Because once you're in a couple, that's
you're supposed to be a team.
You're supposed to be a team. That's supposed to be your partner for life, right? So it's also oh, the man can just go off and get another wife, but it's also then why are you in that couple? Once you find a partner, you should be finding someone for life. It's not just oh, I can just go off and have somebody else.
Yeah, but exactly.
Well, also it does depend on the situation.
Yeah, and also the thing is though, just because you're in a couple doesn't mean you have to have a kid. The whole point about it is it's you and them. Yeah, at the end of the day, you're a team, And if you guys want to have kids, yeah, that's your thing. But if you don't and you're in a couple with someone and he does, at the end of the day, you're in that couple to be with him, not to be with some potential, not to have a potential kid. So she doesn't want that, and that's why, again, like Griswold v. Connecticut, they said that if you're in like a married relationship, you can make those decisions on your own as a woman, because it's your right to your own body, your right to privacy, and you don't have to include the man in the decision.
And I think that's something that that should have been a conversation that the couple should have had from the beginning. If the argument is that just one side of one person in the couple wants a baby and the other doesn't, that should have been a conversation that should have been made from a while. I feel like that shouldn't you guys shouldn't, if you guys believe in a line from the beginning, I feel like that should have been something that should have been spoken about. And yeah.
Especially like for me, like if you're doing those things, then obviously
I see his point.
you know, like obviously if you're participating in such activities, it's like then you know the consequences of it, and you know what can and what's possible to happen. You know, so it's just like it's also your job to be prepared when you start doing that. Like if you're not, that's on you, and it's like.
But obviously things happen too.
Like what?
Like if a condom rips or something, or they didn't mean to, or like, I mean, yeah, I know.
Well, there's a birth control that's 100% effective.
Oh, well, do you think like contraceptive is like technically killing like in a potential life?
And also birth control has so many side effects.
Taking like
Plan B or IUDs.
I do. I think Plan B's fucked up too.
Well, no, because if you're saying
I say
about
that's
potential
better
life,
than abortion.
It is, but it's still not good.
But what about just like
agreed.
contraceptives in general, like IUDs, like the one where you put it in like your arm and it's already there? You know what I mean?
Like I
is that
said.
technically getting rid of like potential life? Because
If I'm being honest, I don't know too much about IUDs.
I don't know.
If I'm being honest, that's the first time I've ever heard of that.
It's just it's like a woman, she puts it in her arm, so like it pretty much is contraceptive, but it's in her arm, like you know what I mean, type thing.
Like I said, there's a birth control that's 100% effective, and if you don't want kids, just use that.
Birth control's not 100% effective.
No, it's called keeping your legs closed.
Okay, well, so then a man could just go out and do what he wants, but a girl can't.
Well, a man too.
Then,
A man doesn't want to have a kid, keep it in your pants. Same thing.
okay, but you shouldn't be told that you can't do certain activities just because of the threat of having like a kid.
You can't rob a bank because you could steal from people, and you'll get arrested.
You and your
It's-
analogies, boy.
It's the same thing. How is it different? It's an extreme example, but you have consequences for your actions. So why is it everything else has an outcome from an action, but this shouldn't? This
Because
shouldn't have
robbing a
an outcome.
bank and doing something like that is like illegal. An abortion is your own choice, and it's not illegal to get rid of a
But
fetus
something
upon
can
themselves.
come from it. So why
Something
is
can
it that
come-
we just get rid of that?
Because
I don't understand that.
well, we said that last time. Just because you think like something can come from it, like doesn't mean anything. At the end of the day, yeah, you could think something is potential life. Like, yeah, obviously, like if you go through the pregnancy, it's obviously potential life. But at the end of the day, when most women have their abortions, unless like later on in the road where it's like actual serious like medical complications, when women are having abortions, at that point, it's not life. It's not gonna be anything. It's not viable. It's not.
Yeah, but it's gonna be a life. Like that's like the whole point. I don't understand. Like you're like.
It's so dehumanizing to just say it's not a life yet.
Well, it's not.
But it's not.
And again, I see that point of view, and I get that it's like, I see that like moral aspect, but at the end of the day, based off science and on like the law, it's not. So, although you might think that someone should, it's not. And again, like you can carry that if you want. If she wants to have the kid, sure. But at the end of the day, it's not. So it shouldn't be illegal to have an abortion when, according to science, it's completely fine. It's just more of like a moral aspect, and that shouldn't be considered when they're technically not killing something. It's just you wanting to potentially have that. You know? I mean, even when he was like Trip was saying the analogy between like the baking of the cake, he said, oh, if you were baking a cake, you put it in the oven and then some random person comes and takes it out. At the end of the day, yeah, I'd be mad if someone took it out because it was my cake, my thing that I was baking. It is some random person, like the government just told me, no, I can't get rid of that cake. What if I didn't want to bake it? Mind you, what if I
That's
actually...
a waste of batter then.
Yeah, okay, and it was my fault for wasting it, but someone else shouldn't be making... So if anything, he could just say, like, it wasn't like... Okay, so, but at the end of the day, like, the government shouldn't come and, like, get rid of something that I don't, like, tell me to keep something that I don't want. If you don't want it, then, exactly, I would be mad if someone did it because it was mine, not because it was theirs or they thought that they had the right to do that.
Okay, but then you look stupid. Why would you put all the effort to make the cake, form it, and then be like,
Sometimes it's not the choice of the woman to bake the cake. That's all I'm saying.
And also,
Yeah.
just like going back to that thing with like birth
God, that was a
control
freebie
and
one.
stuff, it's just like birth control is the only thing where it's like you can't force someone to be on birth control just because like if you open a box of Plan B, like there's so many side effects and it's so dangerous for women, and so that's
Yeah.
like the one thing that it's like.
And like, yeah, any contraceptive, there's always side effects. Like, it always affects like a woman's hormones. Hey, so maybe a guy needs to get a vasectomy here and there, because they're obviously more of the problem if they can get more women pregnant than women can get pregnant. You know what I mean? Like, it's two different things. And contraception, I think, like, automatically, that's a different conversation, obviously, but I think that contraception should be allowed 110%, and especially if like men aren't going to be doing like vasectomies, which obviously that's a little extreme. I don't
that
think
is
they
so
should.
extreme.
That's what I'm saying. That's why.
That's a permanent solution to a temporary problem.
No, it's not. You can get vasectomies reversed. You can get them reversed and unreversed. Like, women getting tubes tied and like that is different, but men can get vasectomies like reversed. They
That
can,
sounds horrible.
Yeah.
You're not coming out that the same. That's just a fact.
but technically they can. Whereas like, and I understand like contraceptive is like for women, it's like an easier thing to do, but they do still have side effects. So if a guy really doesn't want, or like they really don't want to get pregnant, then maybe we gotta look at both sides. But, and again, as I said, I don't think like women should be like abusing abortion, like constantly like, okay, going out knowing that they have it as like a backup plan. I feel
Yeah.
like that's a little like,
A lot of women do that.
It's a little weird. Yeah.
But I feel like that's like normalized now.
It is because abortions are normalized so much that people just think it's
I
like
don't think women.
I could just.
I don't think women are just going out and like doing that. I mean, I think most of them are like.
No,
Plan
but
B
I'm
type
saying
or-
like not like with that mindset. We're like, oh, I'm gonna have sex with this guy, then right after I'm just gonna abortion if I have the kid. I think that they
Unless he's
have
rich,
the.
then they always keep it. That's a different topic.
I think they more so have the mindset where like, oh, if I ever do get pregnant, I'm just gonna get an abortion.
Yeah, but also most women, if they really don't want a kid and they're having unprotected sex, the next day most women, they're not just like, oh, I'm gonna have an abortion. I mean, some maybe do, but most of them, if they are, they're just gonna be like, okay, well, let me go get Plan B or something like that. Let me talk to a doctor and like make sure like and then get maybe medication from them or something. And even if they did, although I don't agree with it, at the end of the day, it's not my body, so I don't really care what you do. And it's not a thing. It's just what you guys think could potentially be a thing. So I don't.
Yeah, but I still think like that's not fair that they have to get rid of that thing just because they don't want to live with the consequences of their actions. Like I think like everyone should still face like
And they
the
do have
consequences of everything.
Abortion is really emotionally turmoil for a lot of people. That's a consequence. Having to go through the ridicule and like social ridicule or like tell their parents or like whatever it may be, that's also just a consequence. The baby or the potential baby is already a consequence. It's just because you have consequences doesn't mean that you don't like have to fix them. Like you can fix them. I mean,
And I
obviously,
mean, regardless of whether you you want to push through with the abortion or not, it's still like a really pull on your mental health, and it's something that you're gonna have to live for the rest of your life. Which regardless of the decision that you make, it's just something that you like have to think about when it just comes to making that kind of a decision. It's just not the most easiest for the woman to make, and especially if it's hurting like the people around her, if it's getting involved in the relationship that she's in, it's just not like the most ideal for the woman, and it's just not something that anyone else should have a decision in because of that fact.
People tend to go to that, it would be considered easier than having an actual baby and just going through the pregnancy, right?
just having but a pregnant. That's why people do it, because
So,
a pregnancy is so.
Yeah,
It's,
but my
there's so many
point
side
is, why do
effects.
they get to take the easy route? Because they should have.
So you think just because a woman makes a mistake or there's something that happens in between, something that they should?
I agree, because I feel like for a lot of situations, it's just like culturally, your background, I feel like it depends a lot, because Hispanics mostly, like, they do not agree with teen pregnancy, and so if you are a teen that gets pregnant, a lot of the times it's like, okay, well, like, you're not keeping the baby and you're not staying here, like.
I think that's owning that. To me,
That is owning
that's
up.
how I understand owning
like-
up to your mistake when you're
like
pregnant.
back to like the thing, like if you rob a bank, you can't just return the money and be like, oh, I'm good. I fixed my problem.
Yeah, but
You still have to pay for it.
Right, you have to face
So
it.
robbing
Yeah.
a bank is illegal while having sex isn't. That's the thing, though. Like, having sex and getting pregnant isn't illegal. Robbing a bank is. That's a whole different thing.
It's not about whether it's legal or not. It's about whether
No, but
there
it
are
is.
consequences.
That's the
for
argument
those
of
actions.
abortion should be legal or not, is the fact that it's legal or not. Well, not whether morally do you think it's wrong or right. Like, morally, robbing a bank isn't wrong or right, but also on top of that, it is illegal. Whereas
I think
morally, you
morally
could think,
it is wrong.
yeah, exactly, but that's not the legal aspect, though. Legally, there's nothing wrong with it.
I think for me, it's also like if you're just like going around,
Why
well,
are
then
you
why are
fucking
you
that
with
person
them?
then?
Do you know how
Well,
many people just
it's-
do it for no reason? Like,
Yeah.
that's not, like,
See,
you
but
can't
that-
really
and-
use that.
And that's
But then again, that's still their fault because they were
more of
doing
a,
it.
that's more of a society thing. You
Yeah.
can't change that. Like
Exactly, so that's why,
like sex nowadays means nothing. It means nothing.
yeah, and that's...
Which is it's so like you can't fix that because that's just a society problem.
Exactly. So if, I mean, you're not going to really shame people because they want to have sex with people who they don't think their life partner is, you know what I mean? And if they get pregnant with that, they don't want the kid. Say, like, the guy doesn't want the kid either. You're not going to put it in foster care where that's like a terrible system, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, there's couples who want to adopt, but there's not enough. It's not a good system. Bringing more people into the world, we definitely don't need more people into the world right now. You know what I mean? Like, with limited, like, resource, no, that's not, I think that's needed. Especially when it's not a life. Sure, it's potential life, whatever you want to say, but it's not technically a life. It's just a clump of cells. It's not needed. There's no reason to have it. And yeah, sure, it's like dehumanizing, immoral, whatever. But at the end of the day, legally and technically and based on science, it's not. It's fine. You know what I mean? It's more just of like a personal belief, not a like factual one. You know what I mean? That's my kind of point. And at the end of the day, my thing is I don't care enough to tell someone what to do with their own body. You know what I mean? Especially when it's one thing if it was like actively like a woman, like say she gives birth and like she kills a child. Like that's happened. You know what I mean? That is obviously legal because that's a human being. They had a baby at this point. You know what I mean? That's illegal, obviously, because they're killing a life. Like that's.
But that baby isn't conscious either.
Yes, it is.
Not technically, no.
You're talking about just,
babies free.
you're just talking about, but I'm saying
Their
it's,
brains don't grow until like 5 months
no.
old.
Okay, but there's still like it's still alive. It's breathing. Yeah. It's breathing and it's a living thing. Whereas inside, it's not a living thing. And
It's
again,
not
when
living
most
for
people
itself
have an
when it's
abortion,
inside.
lungs don't develop until they're 22 weeks. Most people have an abortion well beyond that, and at that point, so that means it's literally not a living thing. Just like with brain dead people, it's not a living thing. So at that point, it's not anyone else's decision on whether or not a woman wants to get rid of a thing that's not living.
I just think that once it has a heartbeat, just like I feel like at that point it's just immoral.
Well, you can't live without
But-
lungs.
Yeah.
I mean, and a heartbeat isn't until like way, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
at
heartbeats
that-
are way
Way-
into a pregnancy.
Yeah,
At that
it's not.
point-
And at that point, you
it's
shouldn't
not.
be having an
It
like.
shouldn't, it's, at that point,
Yeah,
it's not legal.
if your
anymore.
lungs haven't developed yet, your heart isn't all there either. You know what I mean? So at that point, if your heart has like, if you have a heartbeat, obviously you shouldn't be killing the child.
So do you
know?
think there's like a certain
Unless
time
medical.
period?
So, yeah,
It's
then give me-
okay
Yeah, that's
then.
the whole thing. That's the
Okay.
whole point. Like, if it's most states, especially, that's the whole thing. It's like if you're gonna have an abortion, it should. Most states say 6 months, and
That's way too much.
but fetal viability, like saying like it comes out, say it becomes premature, isn't until 6 months technically. You know what I'm saying? So maybe, yeah, you could say maybe 5 months if you want. Some people push it with 6 months, and obviously later if you have like medical reasonings or like there's something like that. But 5 months to 6 is probably where I would say like is the line. Otherwise, if you have medical reasoning or there's something like that, then obviously that's reasonable. But if you're just having an abortion to have one, I think probably like 5.5 months almost maybe. I think the 22-week limit is probably where, or later, or earlier. I mean, not later, but. You know, because again, I understand your guys' point about potential life and like it could be something that's obviously a valid point. You know what I mean? And I hope you don't have a woman who doesn't want that because I think that would be a difficult conversation for you guys, and I understand that. But technically, if I don't think the woman's doing anything wrong, so I don't think I should have a say on what they want to do with that. You know what I mean? Because personally, I wouldn't want a guy telling me like, oh, you have to do this, and I'm like, I don't want the baby though. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that should be fair. You know what I mean? Just like I'm not going to go tell a guy get a vasectomy. You know, I think there should be a limit on when they should have an abortion, but women aren't having abortions past a certain time. You know what I mean? And honestly, even if women do have abortions, if states won't let them, they're gonna start doing it dangerously. Like a lot of times, like there's actually, didn't Ms. Bonner was talking about it, there was some rates where it was like women were doing it like dangerously beforehand, and then like some like.
Yeah, like once abortion became legal, a lot of like women's suffrage like went down.
Yeah,
And then once
and
it
stuff like
started
that.
like being a controversy again, it went up by a lot.
Yeah, so you can have that opinion on thinking that you shouldn't, but at the end of the day, I think it's a safer route, and I think it's better for most families, people, like their lives, and like everything. So at the end of the day, yeah, there should be a limit, but most people aren't breaking that limit. So I don't think other people should have a choice on that. Whether you think it's morally wrong or not, you know what I mean? That's yeah.
Why does everybody just look at me?
I don't know.
No, we're just
I
looking
don't know, you
around.
looked at me.
I think, honestly, for the most part, like, if it's a controversial thing between, like, you and the other person, I feel like at the end of the day, it should be more up to, like, the person who's actually, like, carrying it, because there are a lot of, like, side effects and consequences, but it's just, I don't know. I don't know.
And I see that too, like having to tell like your partner. But even if you tell your partner, it doesn't mean they're gonna agree. Because what if the guy says, "Oh, keep it"? What are you supposed to do? Just keep it at the end of the day?
There have been stories of men killing themselves because their women has gotten an abortion. Like he's heard that they were pregnant, and the guy was like, all right.
And again, that's something that the partners
and,
should have conversated beforehand. That should have been something
and
that
that's
they
why
knew.
I think it should be a joint decision because
I think
there's a real story.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know, sometimes the woman doesn't even have to say anything to
an
the
abortion.
man. They
And
could
he
just
fucking
go
hung
on and do it
himself
without
from
it.
a ceiling fan.
I'm gonna be honest right now. I see why you guys would say tell the guy, and I think maybe they should. But at the end, I don't think they have to. I don't think legally they really have to. I mean, you know what I mean?
Legally, you don't have to.
Legally, you don't. So I see like the moral aspect, yes, but I don't think women should have to, especially if maybe they shouldn't then at this point. If it's gonna like really affect the guy that much, maybe they just shouldn't be telling the man at all. You know what I mean? Because then if they don't tell the man, well, they don't tell him, then he'll never know, and he'll never have to have that. Because it's not his decision at all.
I feel like if they don't even tell him, then that's just gonna cause more for like more.
How would he know?
How would he
How would he
know?
know?
Though?
So
That's
much
a
worse.
medical.
How would
that's
he
a medical
know?
procedure that no one else.
So wait a minute,
How would you know?
you're saying
Sorry.
to avoid men having problems that just don't tell them anything?
Yeah, you don't have to.
You don't have to.
Legally, women don't have to. It's not their decision. No, they're not the one having it. They
Wait,
don't have to.
tell the man. Sorry, I'm yawning. Tell the man that the woman's pregnant, or tell the man that
yeah, she's
she's
saying-
having
Tell
an
the man that the
abortion.
yeah.
She's
Whoa.
saying don't tell them anything. Don't tell them that you're pregnant. Don't tell them you had an abortion. Don't tell them anything. I think that's
If
See,
you're-
no, I think you should.
No.
Personally,
And I see
I
that-
think
I don't think so.
No,
No,
if
I
we're going
see
with
that.
that, then I'm gonna go back to the money thing. Then you don't get to know anything about my money.
Well, then
Yeah,
you-
and that's an issue for family court.
exactly, and that's why
That's
maybe
not
you should
an-
Okay,
be
then I
having
agree.
a
I
baby.
agree with you
That's
on
not-
that. Then I shouldn't
yeah,
be paying for
no.
it if I didn't know about it.
No, 100%.
That's like hidden taxes.
No, no, but most time in family court, when that happens, they don't make the man pay anything, especially if the
That's
man like
not-
lives
that's not
below
how
his
that
means.
works. Yeah.
There's been no, there is yes, but it's at that point if you didn't know
Baby
anything.
trapping should be illegal.
Also, mind you, women
Yeah, that's why you
work
bring
now.
that up.
Like, women can have their own money too. Like, they have
Exactly.
jobs, they get paychecks too.
That's
It's
the
not just
thing.
like, oh, the man is paying for everything. Like, we're
No,
not
it's
in the
not.
1970s.
And
women have to pay
But
child
I still
support too.
think the man should pay if he knows about it.
If he knows about
it.
And I mean, obviously, family court. If she's, I don't know. I think it just depends. I think that depends on everyone's situation. And I know even women have to pay child support. You know what I mean? Like it goes both. It goes
It's
both ways
rare.
for sure. But it's more on the man. You know what I mean? But at that point, that's not an issue. That's not really a topic. More for like putting that in the law, like with abortion. You know what I mean? That's more of an issue for like courts. And maybe that's a separate.
But it's a double standard that's entwined. Like
Yeah.
I don't think it's unfair that women just get it all. They could kill the baby, and if they want to keep it, then they can just tie this motherfucker that got them pregnant and just tie him with them. I think it should be one way or the other. You
Yeah,
can
but
either,
also technically-
you can either tie him, but you can't get rid of it, or he can abandon it and you can do whatever you want to that kid.
Yeah.
I don't care.
But I mean,
I think
if she
there
were
should be some sort of fairness in that
Yeah,
aspect.
but that's a whole different like
But the
issue.
thing is if you get an abortion, you don't have to tie anyone down. It's really just like, I mean, even if she does get the kid, if she does have the kid, she doesn't have to force the child support upon the man.
They're going to.
But it is-
I have,
it's not- but it's
I
not
have
an-
rarely seen cases where a girl gets pregnant from a guy and she doesn't want him.
There's
to
actually a
pay
lot,
child
especially if
support.
they don't want the man like involved or like
Yeah,
they're scared of him.
If he's like a thug or a abuser. Or
Yeah, but
something
you
like
can't
that,
just
yeah.
say like overall, and then because of that, women
that's not an overall
have to listen
thing.
to their
It's not-
part. Yeah,
It's not a common thing.
it
That
might. Yeah,
happens.
but it's not like
But
a
that women want
universal
child
thing.
support.
That
You realize how common baby trapping is, right? You know what
No,
like
you could say baby trapping and then paying child support is like the same. Like
It
in
is,
the same.
it is the same
No,
thing.
but I'm saying in the sense like how often it happens. Like you know what I mean? Like
it's
you're
a
saying
lot
it
more
like
common
almost
than
like it's
you
like
think.
it happens like.
But that makes no sense to
Everyone-
the topic. It doesn't change the legality of the abortion. Like it doesn't make any sense to the topic.
I'm saying I bring that up because they're intertwined to an extent. There are separate issues, but they overlap.
Yeah, and
I see that point.
I definitely see that because I don't think that's fair at all. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, the abortion aspect itself and just having an abortion isn't up to a man. It isn't the right of. It should be the right to the woman at the end of the day. And again, I don't think it's fair to be baby trapping someone But at that point, that's not even having an abortion. That's
31 minutes.
I think we're
Okay,
good.
that's good.
I think we're good. End scene. Okay.
All right. Thank you guys.
We have to end it though.
Thank you guys for listening
We
to
obviously still have
our
a point of views, like,
our
Oh, I know.
podcast.
Nobody's changing.
I know you're
anyone's
not gonna
minds
change
here.
your mind.
Yeah, we still stayed the same mindset, but thank you for listening to the YouTube podcast.
Somebody